What's going on, everybody? It's Ron Brown, LMT, the People's Fitness Professional, aka Soul Brother #1, reporting for duty. We got brother Yasril. We got brother Abdullah Bey. I can't see his name up there, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's blocked.
Yeah, man. I got some guy helping us out with these things, man. He's like doing a lot. He's doing a lot. But let me find this here. Boom. We got that up there. All right. Etymology, vocabulary.
Oh, I meant to remind you to put my website up there, but yeah, for next, I just forgot.
Next time then.
Yeah, next time.
Okay, so today we're back again with why shouldn't we call ourselves black? Reclaiming a Stolen Legacy, part 4. And you know, are you brothers ready? How you doing this evening?
All is well, brother.
Yeah, all is well, brother.
All is well.
Excited for part 4.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So let's put this. You ready for the slide?
Yep.
All right. Here we go.
All right. This is part 4. Why we shouldn't call ourselves black. Reclaiming the Stolen Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Nationality is interrelated to the following principles: national self-consciousness, national consciousness, national pride, national culture, national character, national coat of arms, national seal, national flag, self-governance, national sovereignty, constitutional self-governance, constitutional name, diplomatic protection, treaty protection, consular relations, self-determination, national name, and national identity. So these people are not imposters. They are wearing the cultural attire, fez, of their ancient Moorish ancestors. These people are not imposters. They are wearing the cultural attire, fez, of their ancient Moorish ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
These people are not imposters. They are wearing the cultural attire, fez, of their ancient Moorish ancestors. The attire, right? Pants of Moorish origin in Spain. The influence of Moorish culture on Spanish clothing traditions is evident in various garments, including certain styles of pants. One notable example is the saruel, a style of pants that originated in Persia and was adopted in North Africa, according to custom camis. When the Moors arrived in Spain, Al-Andalus, in the 8th century, they brought with them their clothing traditions, including garments like the saruel. These pants are characterized by their wide legs and low crotch tapering down towards the ankles. Another possible example is the gregoscos, a type of breeches or short baggy trousers for men that were popular in Spain during the 16th and 17th centuries. While their exact origin is debated, some sources suggest a possible military origin with a style somewhat reminiscent of harem pants. Given the historical presence and influence of Moorish culture in Spain, it's plausible that elements of Moorish fashion, such as wider, comfortable pants, may have contributed to the evolution of styles like the gregoscos. And this is a portrait of an Arab, Horace Vernet, 1789, 1836. So these are the pants. So Spain introduced the style of short, baggy, ungathered. So Moors introduced it to Spain, to the Spanish. And then Spain introduced the style of short, baggy, ungathered breeches called Spanish breeches, gregoscos in Spanish, to Germany. These were popular in Spain during the 16th and 17th centuries and eventually evolved into other forms in Western Europe, including becoming more like harem pants in Germany. More detail: Spanish breeches. These breeches were short and loose-fitting, often padded and roundish, reaching the mid-thighs or knees. Evolution in Germany. In Germany, they evolved into a style that was more akin to harem pants, hanging down rather than being stuffed. For time purposes, I'm not going to read everything, but I'm going to show the connection. Knickerbocker, 1831. Descendant of Dutch settlers of New Amsterdam, modern New York. The pre-name was borrowed from Washington Irving's friend Herman Knickerbocker, and literally means toy marble maker. From German knicker, schoolboy slang for marble, apparently an agent noun from the imitative verb knicken, to snap. The origin of these Dutch pants can be traced back to the Spanish influence who adopted the Moorish saruel harem style pants. You can see here an image of Don Juan de Austria in a Spanish court dress, 1572. Moorish cultural influence is evident in the attire of many nations. Examine and compare the style of pants in these pictures. Knee-length breeches were a sign of nobility and wealth during the late 1700s. So
now I want to ask you something about the pants that MC Hammer has on, or is that MC Hammer, or is that another?
Yeah,
is that,
MC Hammer.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So those pants go back to like Turkey, if I'm not mistaken. And one thing I don't know if that's another lecture, but Turkey and the Ottoman Empire and the Moorish influence within that. Can y'all break that down a little bit?
Well, yes. In my book, Moors and Masonry Part 1, I give extensive history of the Ottoman Empire and the power. The Osman is actually Osman. Ottoman is German. It's Osman, Osman, and that's a royal house which was established in the 1200, about 1235. It's a house. So you have the Osman house, and what forms a dynasty is the length of the rulership of that house. So to succession power. So from 1235 or so to 1919, which was 1990 is the Treaty of Lausana, which is a partition, that broke up the Osman dynasty or empire. So tremendous you have that's tied to that the Barbarossa brothers. The Barbarossa brothers back in the 1500s, and Charles the First of Spain. So you have that extensive power. So and during that same time period, you have the Moroccan Empire. So you have two major empires, world powers, the Moroccan Empire and the Ottoman dynasty or empire. And there's been extensive research been done, but it's not known to the general public. So those courses are usually electives in colleges. So I just wanted to give that background there, but I have more extensive background history of this in Moors and Masonry Part 1. But you can go to moorsandmasonry.org to get the book.
Okay. Brother Yashriel, you can continue.
All right. So to the left, we have breeches as worn in the United States in the late 18th century. Elijah Boardman by Ralph Earl, 1789. Next picture, we have breeches are still worn as livery for special occasions in several European courts. Here, a coachman in the Netherlands wears them during Prince Jesdag, 2013. Then we have MC Hammer. We have the Algiers, and down here to the right, low, the bottom corner, Greek Christian Ottomans of Cyprus in the 19th century. Zoom in, they have the style. Yeah. Moorish garbs and jewels, crystals and stones. To the left, this picture that's actually supported by Bible verses. At the top, it says, "Make a plate of pure gold and engrave on it as on a seal, holy to the Lord. Fasten a blue cord to it to attach it to the turban. It is to be on the front of the turban." Exodus 28:36 to 30 through 37. The first row shall be carnelian, chrysolite, and beryl. The second row shall be turquoise, lapis lazuli, and emerald. The third row shall be jacinth, agate, and amethyst. The fourth row shall be topaz, onyx, and jasper. That's Exodus 28, 17 through 21. You can see the top, the gold plate, holy to the Lord. That's the turban. 2 onyx stones, 12 stones with names of 12 tribes of Israel. Bells and pomegranates. The tunic, the breastpiece, the sash, the ephod, and the blue robe.
Now, real quick, someone in the chat says, does not more designate black?
Now in part 1, 2, and 3, we're gonna we can go. You're gonna look at parts 1, 2, and 3, and we'll have and you'll see that we break down in the Geneva Bible, 1566 Geneva Bible. You have black more in the spell B, lowercase b, LACKE, space, uppercase MORE. In the 1599 Geneva Bible, you have Blackmore, spelled lowercase b, LACK, space, capital MOOR. So the answer is no. So more does not designate black. More is our nationality. Black is a fiction. There's never been black people that ever walked the face. It's impossible. It's impossible for black people to exist. It doesn't let's go. And also in parts 1, 2, and 3, I think parts 1, we go into the fathers of the modern race paradigm, called Francois Benaire, with his 1535 division of the world, called Linnaeus, and his Systema Naturae, 13 editions from 1713 to 1733. And then Johann Friedrich Boombach with its natural variety in 1752. So they did was they classified the human family using non-nationalities, non-pedigrees, birthright stealing names, black, white, red, brown, and yellow. So once again, more doesn't designate black. Black is a fictional category where Moors have been placed in by France. It didn't start with the United States, so we don't start with the United States. Yeah. So Negro de Moros, Negran de Moros in the Spanish records. So you see where it was adding Negro and black, creating these compound words for 300 years, from 1500s to the 1800s. Blackamoor was used synonymously with Negro and Ethiopian. So once again, no, More doesn't designate black. Once again, black is a fiction in law that Moors have been placed in. That distills our birthright, makes us non-descendable. It suppresses our national Moorish sovereignty, our national Moorish pride. The bird, the Sankofa bird, with all those principles that Ismail read. It separates us from those principles. So once again, no, more doesn't designate black.
All right. This person says, I'm him, big gas man. Black and white doesn't exist until 1631. Status is not nationality. Okay.
Well, let's clear that up. No, nationalities are statuses too. So that's because status is standing. So we got to clear that up. We can't just let that go. Moor is a status. German is a status. French, Chinese, Burkinabe, Senegalese is a status. I am German. All right. So what you're doing is that's your standing. You're expressing to the world your standing that you have a legal bond to Germany, and therefore you are protected by the German sovereignty. That's a standing. STA is the root word, means stand. So black, white, black, you're talking, if you're black, that's a negative status. But nationalities are statuses, because nationality will determine what sovereignty, what legal bond that you're to nation state in which you're protected under. Absolutely. So
I have a
I
question
just want to clear that up.
real quick, Brother Abdullah. What makes black a negative status?
All right. Because black, Israel, go back to the Sankofa. I need to go back to Sankofa. People can see a visual. They have to see a visual.
It's on there.
All right. So now, see, what makes black a negative status is that it removes you, doesn't tie to any of these principles. It removes a people out of these principles. It separates us from these principles. It separates us from the human family, from the family nations, from treaty protections. It separates us from our pre-existing Moorish sovereignty. It separates us from our pre-existing land right claims. It makes us non-descendable. It dehumanizes us, denationalizes us. That's why I say negative. A negative, you have positive law. So this, for more clarification, positive. You have positive law and you have negative law. So black is negative law. It's a negative status. And I've been saying because nationalities are statuses, but that's positive status.
And don't forget, black is an adjective.
And black is an adjective.
Description, not an identity.
And absolutely, and Negro is an adjective. Negro is an adjective. And so how can Negro be a noun when Negro is a Spanish word and Spanish is an adjective? Like how, so now it's used as a noun in English?
Right.
No, it's part of speech in Spanish is an adjective.
So that triggers negative grammar. Negative grammar.
All right,
negative.
this is the noun. This is the noun. My slipper. Now. It's a noun.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Negro Sabato. Negro Sabato. All right. Sabato, the noun. Negro, the adjective.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, I want to go to the questions. This is I like this one right here. It says, I've heard you say other people like Asians and Mexicans were Moors. So who is not Moors?
Well, let's address Mexicans. In 1565, Philip II issued a Spanish bulla and placing under the international law application known as acquisition of nationality through subjugation. We were subjugated, we were placed into the Spanish, forced into the Spanish legal system and placed into a new citizenship category, Spanish. So Moors were placed in the citizen category of Spanish. So in the coat of arms of Central South, and I got about 12 or 13 coat of arms of Central South America countries. You see the Moorish feds, a pyramid, and the Moorish feds. I got to give finding of facts. I got to reference. I got to give them references. Because I don't want them to say Abdullah said anything. Right. I got to give them references. All right. So now you're talking Asians. If you look at, all right, so let's talk Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is the false claim is Kamala Harris is not one of us. That's the false claim. Kamala Harris is one of us. But I know what they mean by that because because our people who are saying that Kamala Harris is not one of us, they're positioning that black is an identity, that Kamala Harris is not black. Well, neither are you, neither are our people. But they're using black in a constructive sense of culture, that Kamala Harris, from Sindhu, India, so the food and the dress. But that's our culture. Kamala Harris is one of us. But once again, they're using black as a culture. Black doesn't represent a culture. Kamala Harris is one of us.
Yeah. Black is outside of the culture.
Absolutely. So thank you for the questions, because it gives opportunity to clear these misconceptions up.
So the brother is saying, we got African royalty saying, you still didn't prove how Mexicans are Moors. What about Mexicans who have no? That's the one right there. What about Mexicans who have no African ancestry? So basically, Moors, from what I know, denotes to people of darker hue. So that's kind of broad, right?
Yeah, that's false though. That's a false premise.
Okay,
that's a false premise though.
So, but okay, so that's one,
but
and then another one is the Moors denotes to people of African ancestry.
That's a false premise. No, Moors denotes people of Moorish ancestry. Moors are people of Moorish ancestry, not of African ancestry. African is not an ancestry.
Hold on. I don't want to deal with the semantics of it, but what I'm saying is that.
But Ron, we got to deal with the language though. We have to, Ron. We can't.
Hold on. I don't want to overtalk you. But what I'm saying is that Moors historically come from Africa. Am I right or wrong? Without this, like the region of Africa, right? That area from the east.
No. Okay. So I'm saying, so let's, Ron, we have to address semantics, Ron. You can't. Hold on. Ron. Israel 4 months ago, this is for the audience. Israel 4 months ago did an excellent presentation on the etymology of the word God. He did 2 parts on this platform. 2 parts, where he broke down the linguistic methodology, semantics, etymology. Real excellent presentation. We have to address the semantics. Semantics deals with how words acquire, is the science in which it's the study of how words acquire new meanings. Etymology is the history, origin, and true meaning of words. We have to deal.
I understand that, Abdullah.
I'm saying this is
hold on 1 second. This is what I'm saying. To keep it in layman's terms for people to really understand what the questions that they're asking is, Mexicans don't. What about Mexicans who don't have African ancestry? Now we know what they're talking about. We know what they're asking. So my thing is, if they don't have African ancestry, are there more still?
Well, once again, Ron, African is not an ancestry. We have to deal with the semantics. You continue to, Ron, we cannot answer questions without addressing. You got to understand that these people, their audience, we've been given constructive meanings. We have to address that, Ron. On this, that's why, Ron, you created this platform for this. This is why we're here. We have to.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So look. This is what I want to do, right? So what I want to deal with is, okay, you have deeper and then you have more surface. I understand that you're well read in this subject, and I totally get it. But we have to, meet people on their level, right? As far as their study. So what I'm trying to figure out is, if Africa, we know where Africa is. It has 54 countries as of now in modern days, right? We know where that is. We know that from what we know that the cradle of civilization comes from South Africa, right? Tanzania to be exact. So we all know that humanity sprung up out of Africa and created all of these beautiful people. So what we're trying to figure out is, as far as Africa is concerned, if certain Mexicans don't have African ancestry, like within their DNA, right? If we would have them take a DNA test and they don't have any African DNA, how does that make them Moors?
All right. Once again, I'm like, Vaughn, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not going to get away from the. I'm not, Vaughn. I hear what you're saying, brother. With all due respect, their African ancestry is a misnomer. That's not an ancestry.
So look, it's a continent. People don't identify by the
right.
continent.
Doesn't denote the ancestry. I cannot. I have to. You want me to talk in construction? I cannot. I will not talk in construction, Ron.
No. Hold on. I hear what you're saying. So how about this? So we don't have to go with the whole continent. So let's say if the Mexicans in whatever from Mexico, if they don't have DNA that comes from Senegal, Gambia, the Congo, etc., how are they still Moors?
All right, they have DNA that comes from here. We are native to this land. The book Unexpected Faces in Ancient America by Alexander von Rutenau. He has over 150 photos. He had a photo collection of 50,000 photos of figurines, masks, statues, statuettes, vases with broad noses and thick lips. So the native people, millions of the native people live in the cities. They don't live on reservations. Those are the $5 Indians. The Europeans, Donald Trump looking people paid $5. It's called the Doss Roll in the late 1800s. This is what they was doing so they were reclassifying us. So they were redistributing our land into Europeans. So what they did was Senator Dawes, he legislated the Doss Roll, but that was a plan. So what there was, Hollywood is part of it. So they would put people like Donald Trump looking people, on TV, and they called them Indians. That was the plan, to redistribute land to Donald Trump looking people. Look at Oklahoma. The casino owners look like Donald Trump. That was part of the plan. We're here to do this. We're here to educate. Israel and I will educate by any means necessary.
Yeah, and that's peace. That's peace. However, we have a audience who all have their own perspective. I have my perspective and things of that nature. Everyone's point is valid. So I want to know, Vaughn, I don't understand Dusty Business, where y'all find this nigga. I don't understand. Hold on 1 second. I don't understand your commentary, Van. I don't get your point. We're trying to figure this out here. People have questions, and I know why they're asking these questions. So I'm just trying to bring it home for the brother to fully elaborate and explain what he means. The Hebrews and the Moors want to make people them, but the same people are so anti. All right, that's something else. I was
about to say, it'd be better if people kept the questions, on topic and what we're presenting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We never really spoke. We didn't even speak on Mexico or anything like that, or the Mexicans per se. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going back into time. We're going back into history with this one.
Right. Well, I really wanted to address this question because this is an important question. Like, who are not Moors? So this is what I want to try to figure
Right.
out.
So that's why I'm saying we'll go back in history. We'll see which people were actually called Moors in the beginning. Like,
Okay,
farther
there we
back
go.
we go, we'll see who
There
was
we go.
called Moors.
There we
Because
go.
Mexicans, they have an ancestry is going to connect to the Moors because it's dealing with Spain, dealing with the Spanish viceroyal, the Spanish conquest. So it traces all them back to Castile and Aragon.
The Italians, below Italy, the Castilians,
Mhm.
Right, but then that
absolutely.
would make that would make the whole world Moorish.
No,
That's-
no. We're not, Ron. We can't, Ron. We have to go into details, though. We cannot do a leap like that.
No,
We have to give.
what I'm saying, brother Abdullah, is what you're saying. I'm just talking about.
But I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, though.
Okay.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying what Ron. We got to give them receipts. We can't. Israel and I will not make a leap like that.
Yeah,
We have to. That's right. We give them receipts, so that's why we're referring to certain things, so we could references.
Yeah, we're using.
I'm not making a leap like that.
We're using the evidence as the grounds to step on, so we're not jumping. We're stepping one step at a time, using the evidence.
Yeah, one step at a time.
So people can actually use it. Take the evidence, check it out themselves. As far as any loose claims, we're trying to stay away from that.
Right, exactly, because from what I know, just like African royalty just said, from what I know from Moorish science, the prophet called Europeans.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where we're going with this.
That's a continent, though, right? So Europe has a couple nations as well.
Regardless to that, the prophet calls so-called white people Europeans. I like to stick with that. Like, that's where the foundation is for me. And so he calls the Europeans. He doesn't call them Moors. He doesn't call them amalgamated Moors. He doesn't say anything like that.
Right. So what continent is Spain on?
No, I understand. I understand the continent. I understand Spain is in Europe. I know that.
Right. So we're talking about Al-Andalus. We're talking about Moorish rule at that time as well.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Moorish rule. There was Moorish presence there.
Yeah, for sure.
So when saying European, before it was called Europe, Moorish presence was there.
For sure. However, Moors are Moors and Europeans are Europeans. That's my point.
Nobody was identifying themselves as Europeans. That's what I'm talking about. Though. They weren't calling themselves Europeans at the time. Noble Ali might call them Europeans in 1918 or something like that. But back then, at the time he's referring to, those people at that time period did not call themselves Europeans. Nobody in the world called them Europeans.
Okay, so, and this is understood, right? This is something that I know for a fact. Now, okay, they didn't call, and at that time period, no one called themselves Moors either.
No, we called ourselves Moors.
What time period?
In the time.
Speaking of,
no, let's go. We got finding of facts. We have treaties. We have John. We got treaties. We have letters. Moors and Masonry Part 1. So for the audience, that's just a false claim. The treaties and the letters. You have historical records. You have historical records in Germany, historical records in Spain, historical records in Italy and France, southern France, historical societies, amity records, war records, state records.
Okay. That's
I have references. No, okay, Ron, please, Ron, please, Ron, please. I'm pointing to Ron, I'm giving them finding of facts. I'm giving the audience finding of facts to show that Moors, the name Moors was prominent. And throughout the 700s, 800s, 900s, they are documentary evidence, war records, amity records, treaties, letters, correspondences,
what I'm saying is, I understand that. Hold on.
Ron, we got to get.
1 second. What I'm trying to figure out is who's Moors, who are the Moors, and who are the Europeans. That's what we're trying to figure out right here.
But Ron, but you threw out a claim. But Ron, you threw out a false claim. We have to.
Let's squash that and let's deal with the issue at hand.
But Ron,
hold on, Abdullah.
Ron, you can't throw a false claim out and don't give us the opportunity to clear it up.
Abdullah, I don't want to.
Hold on, the Germanic tribe.
Hold on 1 second, brother. I don't want to. What I want to deal with is this. The question was asked. Okay, if these people are Moors and these people are Moors, who are not Moors? That's what we're trying to figure out. We're trying to figure out who are Moors and who are not Moors. So can you answer that question?
Ron, I'm answering the question, but as I'm answering, you're throwing out false claims. Ron, you continue to cut me off. As I'm answering, you cut me off and you throw out Ron.
But Ron, who are Moors and who are not Moors?
Once again, Ron, I'm going to make my point, Ron. I hear what you're saying. I'm going to make my point. I'm saying, as I'm answering the question, you cut me off and you throw out false claims. Then I have to clear that up. You have done this. You did it 4 or 5 times. As I'm answering, you cut me off, right? And so I don't want to overtalk you. You did it 4 or 5 times. You thought out the false claim. So then I got to clear up a false claim for the audience.
Okay,
brother?
I'm listening.
So Israel made it clear that nobody was calling themselves Moors. You use neutrality as a reference. Israel made a very clear point that when during the time of Moorish rulership in Europe, nobody was calling themselves Europeans. They were called by identifying themselves by their nationalities. That's the point Israel was saying. Because you said your foundation is Juali. So what Israel did was take it further back. And that's what we're doing. And as we're doing that, you continue to cut us off and you throw out false claims. That's what's happening here.
What I don't understand is I don't even know what the false claim was. But what I'm trying to figure out right now is, okay, so here we go. This is what this brother said. All humans are Moors. It's not a noun and a verb. We all navigate see, this is when it's like it gets kind of like
that's what I'm saying. We got to stay on the topic of what we're actually presenting though, because we got an hour to present, certain things, and this is all like it's organized, what I'm saying? Like we had a certain methodology of presenting the information. So when someone brings a question that's off topic, it throws us, goes into the time and throws us off as well. But like he was saying, like the people that were there, that were the pale people, while the Moors were there, they were calling themselves Visigoths. That's why I'm saying those people that people keep referring to as Europeans or the pale people or whatnot are of the Germanic tribe. The Visigoths had a presence there. They entered the Iberian Peninsula during the fall of Rome. So we're going back all the way to when Rome entered that. What's that, 4 BC and things like that of that nature. Like, what I'm saying? We're going back into time, but
yeah,
that's
it's a different topic taking us off, taking us that far. We weren't really trying to go that.
Well, when I'm talking to the audience, right? When the audience asks a question, right? When the audience asks a question, I'm asking the question for the audience, right? And I know where the audience are coming from. So I'm like, okay, so who are Moors? So, like I'm just trying to figure that out. Are we all Moors? All human beings? All human beings are Moors now.
So the first part.
The audience, please. For parts 1, 2, and 3. The answers are in parts 1, 2, and 3. Let's move on, Israel. The answers to their questions are in parts 1, 2. We will move on. Parts 1, 2, and 3 on this platform. Move on to the next slide, Israel.
Back. So these people are imposters. I'm just going to get to it. So I'm going to go through these pictures real quick. These people are imposters wearing the fez, which belongs to the Moors by birthright and inheritance. All right.
Okay, real quick.
Because I want to get into the timeline. That's why
we could do that. I just want to deal with this, right? This is this is straight from Moorish science. This is the prophet. The prophet said, what is his nationality? Moorish American. What is your nationality? Moorish American. Why are we Moorish Americans? Because we are descendants of Moroccans born in America. Morocco is in Africa. So that's where I'm going with it. That's what people are asking. Are Mexicans without African blood, are they Moors? So
Ron, can we continue with the presentation, Ron? We have Israel. We put together a very good presentation, and we have not even got through an eighth of it. Can we continue parts 1, 2, and 3? I'm gonna continue again. Parts 1, 2, and 3. Take the time and go on this platform and listen to. I'm going to stand strong on this. Parts 1, 2, and 3. Israel, continue with the presentation.
Hold on a second. That's what we're trying to figure out. Yes or no?
Parts 1, 2, and 3. Parts 1, 2, and 3. Israel, continue with the presentation.
Hold on, Brother Abdullah, real quick. I understand you want to finish the presentation and you want to go with the flow and how you want to do things. However, there's a question on the table. We just, the people, want to be answered. If it's a yes or if it's a no.
Parts 1, 2, and 3. Go to parts. Brother, we don't do the simple answers. We don't do the simple yes or no. We don't.
Brother just said, hold on, brother. Hold on. He said, the brother said, I watched part 1, 2, and 3. The answers are not there. I'm just asking you this. This is straight from Moorish science. I said, a noble Jew Ali said, his nationality and your nationality is Moorish American. The reason why you're Moorish American, because you're a descendant of Morocco, born in America. Morocco is in Africa. So the question to you is, if the person does not have the DNA of an African in them, can they still be Moors? Now, if they can still be Moors,
1, 2, and 3. Parts 1, 2, and 3. Can we go continue with the presentation?
If you say that everybody came from Africa, right? You say that everybody came from the continent of Africa, right?
What I'm saying is because what I'm saying to you is, if your DNA,
I got the question. I'm saying, but
if DNA doesn't read Africa inside your DNA, then there's a possibility that you may not be a Moor. That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is, you said if you're making a claim that everybody started in Africa, right? From the people that started in Africa, the whole world. You're saying Africa populated the whole world. That would mean everybody had the same genes. So that's a loose claim. So we're trying to be more detailed with it.
We could go there, right? Where did
anybody else come from? If they didn't come from the people that came from.
If that's where you want to go, then cool. Then everybody on the planet, they're all Moors. So white people, so-called, can claim Moorish.
No, listen, brother.
We never said that. But we never said. But we didn't saying that though.
Based on what you are saying, I'm showing you what the loose claim, you say what the loose claim was. So I'm showing you what the loose claim is.
But this is what I'm trying to figure out. I'm just asking a simple question.
Ron, let him tell you what the loose claim is, Ron. Let him talk, Ron. Let him talk, please.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying if you made the claim that everyone began in Africa, you said South Africa, right? You said South Africa is where humanity began. If humanity began there and everybody in the world are humans, that means they all have the same genetics. Like they couldn't have come from any other planet. You see what I'm saying? That's a loose claim. That's why he's saying that's a loose claim. We're trying to get into detail. So we're going to treaties, because in the treaties, people identify themselves. They never identify themselves as African. In no treaty, they never identify themselves as European, nor American, nor Australian, nor Asian. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Nor Antarctica. So nobody's identifying as that. Like we go back into time, checking the records. You got to check the records. Noble Drali said what he said, but we go back before him and check the records. Because we can't just start it with Noble Drali.
So
He's here to remind us who we are.
This is the problem. DNA don't say we all have the same genetics.
And this DNA is coming from a corporation, right? It's coming from a corporation that's under the jurisdiction of the United States. So we get into to the history of the United States. What's the purpose of the United States? To continue European colonization, subjugation. So what, you see what I'm saying? Like, we're kind of going against ourselves with certain questions and thinking about it certain ways. So we're trying to give people a proper way of thinking, because everybody's thoughts are going in circles. They're chasing their tails in circles right now. So we're presenting information that hasn't been presented before. And when Abdullah is addressing certain questions, it's never been addressed. These questions have never been addressed this way. But people keep coming up with the same questions, and they're not taking time to actually listen to the answer, because they don't hear the answer they want to hear. So if they have an answer they want to hear, why are they even asking the question?
I'm still lost, brother. I'm still lost, because I'm sure you understand the question.
DNA. You're talking about DNA,
Yeah,
right?
because this is
genetics. So you have to go what? Ancestry.com, right? Or African ancestry, right?
So I mean we're talking about just
where
DNA. We're talking about DNA in general. We're not talking about
what I'm saying is how they're gonna get the,
so
what I'm saying is
hold on, brother. We're not talking about corporations. We're talking about DNA in general. So in DNA in general, it could explain to you, it could give you a story. It could explain, okay, this person is from this region, this person is from that region, this person is from this region.
So who do you have to go to get the what I'm saying is
my question to you is this, right? Being that Noble Drew Ali said that Moorish Americans are from Moroccan. We are Moorish Americans because we're descendants of Moroccans born in America. And Morocco is in North Africa, is in Africa, right? So what makes us Moorish is because we have the DNA of those from Morocco and in that region. So if that's the case, right,
so,
what we're trying to figure out is, if that's the case, would Mexicans have that same DNA? That's what we're trying to figure out.
I got you, but I'm trying to make it more clear, because if we all take a genetic test, right, where are we going to go to take this genetic test? And that's why I've said the corporation, African Ancestry, or Ancestry.com. You're getting into corporations now. You see what I'm saying? Wherever you go get a genetic test, it's going to be some corporation that has to do the testing. Am I correct?
But that's neither here nor there, brother. What I'm saying,
brother, that matters, though, brother. That's a factor, brother. That matters.
But
the whole presentation that we're talking about is reclaiming our law.
But look, let me ask you this: are Mexicans Moors?
Brother, if you go to their constitution, it's gonna say Mexican. They're talking about Mexican.
I've never heard a Mexican, except for one, claim that they're Moors.
That's not evidence. That's not evidence. That's not evidence. It's not evidence. That's not evidence. That's not evidence, though. That is not evidence, though. I hear what you're saying, Ron. That is not evidence. Because the person that you talk to, 10, 20, 30, 40, 100, 200, they don't know the history. They don't know the Inquisition against the Moors. They don't know that 1565, King Philip II issued a bull classifying the Moors as Spanish. So because you talk to 10, 20, 30, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 Mexicans, that is not evidence, because you're using that point that I never heard any Mexican say. You're using that point. You're using a point at the people who don't know the ancient history. So I'm not going to stand that. So you're using that as a point of evidence. I'm refuting that. You're talking to an ignorant body of people who don't have the knowledge and research that we have.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, y'all quiet. Y'all can keep building. I mean, for me, this is not.
We got minutes.
But here's
it's like the audience.
The presentation is over.
But
the presentation is over. We're going to go to the end. We're going to go to the end and read. Bond. We have the floor. All right, we got the floor. So we're going to go, because we can't start here. We can't. Bond. We have 10 minutes left. Anybody else is going to go through the presentation. We're going to go to the end. We're going to go to the end because we only have 10 minutes left. We were already ready. So I'm saying that next time we come on, we need to go through the presentation, then questions. We should not do this process. We should not do this next time. From this day forth, we should not do this. We should give us our opportunity to go through the presentation, then ask questions. We should not do this.
Don't forget, this is a continuation. This is a
yeah,
series. So
and
we don't want to
probably,
go back to part 1 and part 4. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's jumping around. So that's why we said
We spent time doing this presentation, working on this presentation. We haven't gotten through the presentation. This is not fair. We should not do this.
all right, brother Abdullah. It's peace, brother. I mean, this happens. You know what I mean? It's life. You know, we just build. When we build.
Yeah, but I'm saying next time. Remember, I keep saying next time. I'm saying next time, though. Saying next time. I mean, we good to now. Next time. Next time.
We build. Things happen. People ask questions and all of that, and then it flows. And then if we don't get everything done in one shot, we don't.
But it's not flowing, though. It's not flowing. They ask questions at the end. It's not flowing. So once again, I refute that. It's not flowing because we didn't get a chance to go through the presentation. Questions should be at the end. So I don't disagree with that. It didn't flow. It didn't flow. I'm not going to agree with that. It didn't flow.
I'm going to refute what you just said. And at the end of the day, this platform is for the people. The people come on here and they ask questions. It's my job to make sure the question is asked. And the answer is still, no one's answered it yet, but it's all good though.
All right. So if the audience asks a question and we don't answer that question, does that mean our presentation just stops?
No, you can keep going. You can keep building.
Right. So Abdullah said what the answer was 1, 2, and 3. Like the answer is about Moors. We broke down the Moors. We did the linguistics, breaking down of it. We went through the biblical background of it. We broke that down. You was there, like you agreed to it. You know what I'm saying? You got it then. So that's why I'm like, if they're not going to take time to go back and see part 1, 2, and 3, they're just going to jump in part 4. They're jumping in the middle. It's like watching the fourth episode of something you didn't watch the first one. You're going to have a lot of questions. And as far as the Mexican question, that wasn't even anywhere in this presentation. But they were connected if they started knowing the history of Mexico. And how Spain was involved and how the people didn't look the way they looked.
Exactly. Inquisition of Moors, Moorish rulership. That's what we had this whole presentation for. So I'm saying that if we had gotten the chance to do the presentation, right, then the answer is clear because we didn't get a chance to give the presentation. They don't know the history. That's what we're going through the history. That's what Israel was going to do today. But unfortunately, I'm saying it did not flow, and I'm not going to move off of that. It did not flow because we didn't get a chance to do the presentation that we put time in. We put hard work in and presented this presentation. And we want to give people finding of facts. We want to give people information that they can research. We give references. So it did not flow. And I'm going to stand on that.
Okay, we got 7 minutes. All right.
We got 7 minutes. Let's read this and it'll be done. Read this statement and we're done.
Wait, I didn't hear what you said.
It was breaking up.
The screen will be done.
All right, read this. Shem Malachi Bey's proposal for the call for the restoration of national Moorish political unity through political legitimacy, the will of the people, consent of the people, good government, large-scale community outreach and network. Shem Malachi Bey's public statement to the people. Greeting. My proposal and plan for the restoration of national Moorish political unity is rooted in the past structures of ancient governments. The proposal and plan for restoring national political unity among our people, the Moors, most of whom are classified as Black, Negro, colored, African American in the United States Census Bureau and the Commerce Department, is to facilitate political legitimacy, consent of the people, through large-scale community outreach and network. This large-scale outreach approach to unconscious Moors and The network among the conscious Moors, having political bodies, are vital to contribute to the formation and expression of the will of the people. Having a network vehicle that creates the space for the formation and expression of the will of the people is a fundamental principle to facilitating good government and the basis to political legitimacy. The political action of Moroccan/Moorish political bodies coming together to form a central governing body composed of many Moorish body politics to function as a Moorish national provisional temporary governing body to serve as a voice for our people in the international arena is much needed to address the systematic generational mass denationalization and subjugation of our people, the Moors, as well as the generational European colonization of our lands, known to the world as North America, South America, Central America, and Americana. An interpolitical constitution will be formed from our Moorish political governing bodies by sending up representatives elected by the Moorish Moroccan people or by supreme authority who will exercise collectively the sovereign power and authority in a provisional capacity.
All right, so we have 3 minutes left. You want to read another, Israel?
Yeah, I wasn't finished. I actually went to the next.
Bad.
In a provisional capacity that the Moorish Deys, Beys, Emirs, Caliphs, Pashas, and Bashals, indigenous Aboriginal people, operated in unity with Moorish emperors/sultans once exercised before the dismantling of our Moorish empire and the usurpation of our Moorish sovereignty due to conquest, subjugation, and colonization by the Empire of Spain, Empire of Portugal, Kingdom of France, Kingdom of England/Great Britain, Kingdom of the Netherlands, Dutch Republic, Kingdom of Sweden, Denmark, Sardinia, and Belgium. When the sovereign power of an empire, kingdom, or nation that ruled over a host of kingdoms or provinces in their territorial domiciles diminished, the people of the empire, kingdom, or nation possessed the inherent and divine right to return to the international law of nations, principles of post-millennium, reversion to sovereignty, recovery of lost sovereignty, self-determination, and autonomy. When Moorish emperors relinquished their sovereign power over the Moorish kingdoms in the territorial domiciles they once controlled, we, the Moors, have a right to govern among ourselves and form an interpolitical assembly with an interpolitical constitution that would act or take the place of the sovereign power that the Moroccan/Moorish emperors once claimed. The interpolitical constitution would be the structured governmental body that regulates authority over all the Moorish political body politics/states by the structured language in the interpolitical instrument. The interpolitical constitution will position us politically to reestablish diplomacy and consular relations with the Empire of Spain, Empire of Portugal, Kingdom of France, Kingdom of England/Great Britain, Kingdom of the Netherlands, Dutch Republic, Kingdom of Sweden, Denmark, Sardinia, and Belgium, with which we negotiated treaties during the 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, and 1800s. Moorish treaties proved that the names Morocco and Moor were predominant names that dominated the military engagements, wars, commercial trade and mercantile, merchant, seafaring, diplomatic and consular strategies, captivity and ransoming strategies of the Empire of Spain, Empire of Portugal, Kingdom of France, Kingdom of England/Great Britain, Kingdom of the Netherlands, Dutch Republic, Kingdom of Sweden, Denmark, Sardinia, and Belgium between the 700s, 700s, and the 1800s.
All right, we're gonna run out of time. Let's keep going on this on the next one. This kind of sort of answers the question in a sense, somewhat, but I think that question that we asked is valid. But for now on, because somebody else in the chat said it's best to ask questions after. The problem with that is we're gonna have to close out 15 minutes before to ask questions. On that note, thank you for coming out, brother Yasril. I really appreciate you. We'll build, and I'll see you on the next one.
Indeed, bro.
Peace.